Stephen, why are you here?
I'm here today as a concerned father. My 2- and 3-year-old daughter I believe, are getting abused by my ex's boyfriend. The ways I think that's happening is last year, I was going to pick my daughters up for visitation. She calls me while I'm heading there, says, well, your 2-year-old has a swollen hyperextended elbow.
These are your daughters here?
Yeah, those are my babies. They're so precious. She told me that her boyfriend were power bombing her on the bed.
Power arming?
Power bombing.
Power bombing.
Like a wrestling, I guess, or something. She said it was an accident. They were just playing. Who power bombed a 2-year-old on the bed hard? She told me it was an accident. I went ahead and just played it off, and I said, okay. You know, when we get back to my house, my 3-year-old had big bruises on her legs, on her arms. You know, I thought, you know, is she getting hit? Well, 2 weeks ago is what set it real off. She calls me and said my 2-year-old's been hit in the mouth by a doorknob by my 3-year-old. Well, my 2-year-old's not tall enough for a doorknob. That pains me because I try to see my kids. I try to protect them. She doesn't allow me. I've only seen my kids 6 times the last 2 years.
6 times in the last 2 years?
Yeah. You know, I try to see them. She won't allow me to see them without my father being there. My father's real ill. He's always sick, in the hospital. He can't do it. I try to say, I'll come with my girlfriend. I'll come with friends, and I'll go and see him. She says, no, you have to be with your father. If I just show up there by myself or unannounced, whatever, she'll call the cops. She'll do whatever it takes to ruin my day for them. I can't show up unannounced, which makes me think again, well, why don't you want me to see him? Are there bruises she's trying to hide? Are there some she's trying to hide?
Have you ever met the boyfriend?
No, only through a phone. I can't formally meet him. But there's attitude between us two, and he won't talk without talking and trying to fight.
Why don't you go over there and say, hey, I want to meet this guy?
She won't let him meet us two together by ourselves.
So what do you want to happen today?
I want to find out the truth about my daughters, if they're getting abused or not, and I want to be able to see them more.
And you took a lie detector test before the show, whether you're fabricating a story and whether you abused your children too, right? All right, we're going to bring out your ex-wife, Barbara. Let's meet her. If he does show up at the house, will you call the police?
Not now.
But have you threatened him in the past to call the police?
Yes, because of all the threats that he's made towards me.
What kind of threats has he made?
That he's going to go after me, that he's going to attack Sean, he's going to kick Sean's ass. I have text messages. I have everything to show that it was an unsafe environment.
After I found out my kids were hurt? I was going to beat his ass. Excuse my language, I'm sorry. But
there's no violence around the children in our household.
I was going to do it around my kids.
Do you want Sean to be around his children?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then both of you have to act like grown-ups at some point and say...
Sean is there for your kids.
But he shouldn't be hurting my kids.
He's not hurting your kids. He puts your kids to bed at night. He takes care of them. He plays with them. He takes them to the park. What do you do for your children?
You don't let me be there to do anything for them.
For your kids.
Did your daughter have a black and blue mouth?
Yes.
With teeth? And how did
she? On the outside. Her teeth did get injured by smacked her with the door, and it went right into her 2 teeth, and they got bruised. That is exactly what happened.
She's not tall enough.
Well, why don't you come over and measure? Because you know what? I have no reason to hurt my children. I love those babies. I work 18 hours a day to support them.
How did your daughter get the big bruise on her arm?
When they're wrestling and they're being power slammed, when they're going down like this, and she puts her arm like this.
But why are they being power slammed?
Because they're playing. They're playing WWF.
With a 2-year-old little girl?
There are times that he has wrestled a little bit too rough with them, but not to the extent.
Well, then he has legitimate concern, right? Doesn't he have a right to come over and see his children without being the threat of the police being called on him?
Well, the threat of the police is being called because he threatens to kick his ass and violence in my home.
What's that?
Because he threatens to kick his ass and beat him up at my house.
Well, if somebody was being too rough with my kids, I'd be threatening to kick their ass too. Let's bring out your boyfriend and how long you been with him now?
10 months now, but we had a previous relationship when we were about 6 years ago.
Okay, here's Sean.
You lying son of a bitch!
No. Lying son of a bitch?
When's the last time you called your kids? When's the last time you calls them? Huh? When's the last time you called your kids?
I try to call, she don't answer.
Well, you're Maybe why don't you sit there and quit changing your number every week?
Change my number?
Yeah, you got a new phone number every week.
I give it to her every time, don't I?
Yeah, and let me ask you, you talk about abuse? How dare you? I'm the one to put your kids
together.
Why you hurt her
elbow then, dummy?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I was
and
a little too rough with her.
Why?
Yeah, I was rough with your child. But you know what? I'm the one that puts her
boy.
And you're saying that putting these bruises and being too rough with them, it's just of what?
I picked her up, was trying to drop her on the bed, and when she landed and twisted her elbow.
2-year-old little girl, you're picking her up and dropping her?
Oh, yeah, I play with them like my kids,
You're not
I'm
too
sorry.
smart. I mean, come on.
But you know what? I felt bad about it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that.
So you didn't mean to do it?
No, I didn't mean to do it at all.
Do you have any problem with him coming over and seeing his little girls?
Not at all.
Why do you have a problem then?
Because I don't know the people he's around. I've never been able to meet
But he
anyone.
doesn't know him. And he's saying, okay, you're living with
He
him.
has a court order to have supervised visitations at all times, and he has to take a drug and knowledge test. Until I have all that cleared out of the way, until we have it going the way and being on track, I'm not going to allow just anyone showing up at my house at all.
Steven took a drug test for us yesterday, by the way, and he came up totally clean. Today, he took it today. Before the show, you took a lie detector test, whether you fabricated the story about the abuse and whether you abused your kids. Have you ever hit your children with excessive force? No. Have you ever abused your daughters in any way?
No.
Did you fabricate a story that Barbara and Sean abused your daughters?
No.
And the results for Steven's lie detector test is that he has told the truth. All right. Barbara, you took a lie detector test before the show also. Have you ever seen Sean physically abuse your daughters? You
No.
answered no. Are you deliberately keeping the girls from seeing Steven?
No.
You answer no. And the results of your lie detector test is that you told the truth. But there's a little something disturbing with your lie detector test. It said, Barbara confessed to hitting her children with excessive force. You want to explain that?
No. I confess to smacking him harder than usual, and that has happened before.
Harder than usual.
He expressed the levels of it. So if that's the way he meant it, that's inaccurate.
Okay. Sean, you were given a lie detector test also? Have you ever physically abused either of Barbara's daughters?
No.
You answered no. Have you ever abused Barbara's daughters in any way?
No.
You answered no. Have you ever seen Barbara physically abuse her daughters?
No.
And the results of your lie detector test is that you did not tell the truth.
I've never beaten them kids.
It says you abused them.
I've never abused them. I never have.
Your reaction to that, Mom?
What's he talking about?
Barbara, I've never. You're with me 95% of the time. How could I have abused your kids?
Why are you letting this guy put his hands on your daughters? You only been with them for 10 months.
What kind are we talking about? What kind of abuse are we talking about? What are we talking about? Like, what
Well,
kind?
I guess I beat your kids. That's what they're trying to say is I beat your kids.
You say it. You said you had a bad day and you came home
and I
and you
spanked
took
on
it
butt.
out on
That's
them.
not beating their kids, it's spanking their
A
butt.
4-year-old and a 2-year-old and you
You're trying
use
to tell me
excessive force?
you tell me you never spanked your kid?
Never.
Well, sometimes they don't listen.
Sometimes. So then you got to hit him, huh? You shouldn't be allowing this guy to put his hands on your kids. You shouldn't be allowing him to body slam your kids. Now you can get the hell, both of you, off my stage. You were right. You were right. But you know what you got to do now? You got to buck up. No more excuses, because if you know that's what's happening to your kids, you need to get off your ass, take the appropriate steps to get your kids and take care of them. You'll do that? All right. Let's go get them.